So there's a lot of ways that we can create intentions and positive statements for ourselves. And one of the best ways, I think, and I think one of the things that's probably most immediate and pressing, is to acknowledge and address those things that keep popping up in our minds that are negative, right? So, most of the time we'd say it's not good to focus on the things that you don't want or the things that are wrong, but I think it's really good to acknowledge those things that keep popping up so that you can use that as a tool to flip it around into something that you actually want, all right? So, using what's wrong to focus on what's right, it's helpful to take a sheet of paper. We have a little worksheet that we'll share with you. We used this in our latest intentions workshop. It was really awesome. So what you want to do is first acknowledge what's wrong. What is the thing or the things, but you can choose one thing to work with at first. What is that thing that keeps popping up that's causing you stress or anxiety, or that little soap opera or drama that's going on in your mind, that's bringing you down, that's making you feel funked out? What is that thing? Acknowledge it and write it down, all right? The second step would be to ask yourself, these are two extremely freeing questions at any given point in time. What is it that I really want, or what do I want instead? Now, you may not have the answer immediately. You may just sit there and ask yourself that question, but even just asking that question, let's say I'm in the midst of, like just some negative thinking around something, right? As soon as I notice it, it's almost like this aha moment, right? I'm like, oh, there I go, right? And then I ask myself, what do I really want? What do I want instead? And I may not know the answer right away, but just asking that question is very freeing and open. And it forces my non-conscious, unconscious, higher self, spirit, whatever you want to call that, it forces it to look for an answer, right? So that's why it feels so open and freeing, because it puts you almost into a trance, right? You're looking for the solution to it. So you acknowledge what's wrong. You ask yourself, what is it I really want, or what do I want instead? And eventually that answer will come to you. Maybe not right away. Maybe it'll just pop in at some point in some space that you have later. And when you figure that out, you rewrite the story and you rewrite the script, right? So just as a couple of examples, like everybody else, I have personal situations going on with someone. Usually at any given point in time, I usually have something going on with somebody. Usually not too intense or dramatic, but sometimes that happens too. But all right, so if I have this situation going on with someone, I have my perception of what it is I think they think about me based on a conversation or something, right? Or what I've heard from someone else. And in my mind, I'm going through this little soap opera and drama about what it is I think they said, or what it is I think they think. And then in my mind, I'm thinking about why that's not true, or what I want to say in rebuttal to it. And it's just a super tight, intense mental conversation that I'm having with myself. But as soon as I notice that, I can be like, well, there I go. There it is. Here's my opportunity to work with it. And then I ask myself, what is it that I really want? What do I want instead? Well, honestly, like, I want to be friends with this person. I want us to support each other. I want us to be happy. I want us to see each other and high five and hug. I want to know that she's supporting me, or he's supporting me, and I'm supporting her, him, and vice versa, right? So it's like just going through that little process completely changes my imagery around it and my story around it. And it changes the way that I'm perceiving my environment, which means that I'm more likely to have a different and better conversation or interaction with this person in the future, versus me going through this little soap opera that's super tense, super defeating, and assumes the worst in the other person, right? So that's a personal example. I think something that's pressing for a lot of people might be financial issues. I feel like we can always improve with our financial status, whatever the heck you want to call that. We're always trying to empower as many people as possible while trying to build a business. And for me, that's very hard because I want to give everything that I have for free, right? So for me, it's easy to focus on the lack of, and not being happy with where we're at. And then if I really ask myself, what is it that I want? What is it that I want instead? Then it forces me to start thinking about the future, right? I want financial independence and freedom. I want this thing to have a steady flow of income so that we can reinvest it and empower more people and give more production value. So I'm not sitting here on a freaking phone with an earpiece like this all the time. I mean, sometimes I try to do a little bit better than this, but you know what I'm saying. But just asking that question makes it more open and free. It makes it feel open and free. It makes it feel more creative and positive. And the more that I can do that, the more that I can focus on what I want versus what's wrong, the more that I'm going to bring a solution into my life eventually, right? something that comes up a lot when I work with people in whatever you want to call it, like life coaching type stuff, is career change. People not being happy with what they're doing in life. So it's easy to focus on what's wrong and what you're not happy with, right? But as soon as you ask the question, what do you really want? What do you want instead? And you sit there and just kind of map it out, daydream a little bit. Well, I want a work environment that's fun. I want people that are happy around each other and supportive of each other, super competent, that all have the best interests of the company in mind. It's a fun place to work. It's a perfect balance of making the income that I need and having the free time that I want and need, or something like that. But again, asking that question and looking for that answer is extremely freeing and open and creative, versus focusing on what's wrong, which is super tight and tense and just is only going to force you to look for evidence to support that thing that's wrong, right? So I hope those are some really good examples, but a big takeaway from this is one way to create positive statements for yourself and intentions or visions for the next year is to focus on the things that keep popping up that are bringing you down and try to rewrite the story and rewrite the script on those things, all right?